Mediation into the vexed issue of the Ram temple at Ayodhya hasn't worked in the past. Today, the Supreme Court decided to give mediation yet another shot. A three-member committee has been set up to look at the possibility of mediation over the next 8 weeks. There's already a big controversy brewing with Assuddin Owaisi, the Hyderabad MP, hitting out at one of the mediators, Sri Sri Ravi Shankar, saying that his views are known. He's already said on India Today that India will become Syria if Ram temple is not built at Ayodhya. So Owaisi arguing that this man is biased and therefore he cannot be an independent mediator. In just a moment from now, Assuddin Owaisi will be joining us. We'll also look at the larger issue of whether mediation can indeed be a solution. It hasn't worked in the past. Can it succeed in circa 2019? Here's the report.
The Ayodhya dispute will be settled through mediation if possible. The Supreme Court on Friday spelled out a roadmap to solve the 60-year-old Ram Janmabhoomi Babri Masjid dispute. The court has appointed a three-member panel to mediate the Ayodhya title suit case. The panel will be headed by retired Supreme Court Judge Justice Ibrahim Kalifullah and has spiritual guru Sri Sri Ravi Shankar and senior advocate Sri Ram Panchu as the other two members. The Supreme Court has asked the committee to keep the mediation process confidential. The talks will be held in Faizabad. The court has barred media from reporting on the mediation proceedings. It also said that mediation should be concluded within 8 weeks and the first status report is to be submitted in 4 weeks. The members of the newly constituted committee say that they will make every effort to resolve the issue amicably.
If the committee has been constituted, we will take every effort to resolve the dispute amicably.
I think this is the only way to go about. Taking everybody along, because it involves the sentiments of the people.
The appointment of spiritual leader Sri Sri Ravi Shankar to the panel, however, has sparked a debate. While some say he's not neutral, some have called him politically influenced.
ये रिग्रेटेबल है कि एक ऐसे शख्स को सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने मीडिएटर अपॉइंट किया है जो न्यूट्रल मीडिएटर नहीं है, क्योंकि उनका ऑन रिकॉर्ड स्टेटमेंट है कि अगर आप ये नहीं करेंगे, वो वायलेंस का थ्रेटन किए कि सीरिया बन जाएगा, थ्रेटन किए वायलेंस का।
क्योंकि संवैधानिक लड़ाई लड़ते चले आ रहे हैं शुरू से, तो हम चाहते हैं कोई संवैधानिक व्यक्ति ही हो। ऐसा ना हो कि बाद में ये लोग कहें कि राजनीति हो रही है। हम राजनीति से दूर रहना चाहते हैं और इस मामले में राजनीति को सक्रिय नहीं करना चाहते, इसलिए श्री श्री रविशंकर से थोड़ी सी आपत्ति है।
The court's decision evoked mixed reactions. While some Hindu groups were clearly not happy, Muslim petitioners did not question it.
जो पहले जो वार्ताएं हुई, उन वार्ताओं का अनुभव कैसा रहा, उनका असर क्या हुआ, इन सब चीज़ों को समझना पड़ेगा। अगर कोई वार्ता करते हैं तो मैं कहता हूं कि देखिए उसका कोई औचित्य नहीं बनता।
प्रयास कई बार हो चुके हैं लेकिन लोग मानने के लिए तैयार नहीं है। हिंदू पक्षकार खुद कहता है कि हम इसको नहीं मानेंगे, जो भी कोर्ट फैसला करे। अगर जो है कोशिश हम लोग जो है करना चाह रहे हैं, अगर लोग तैयार हैं तो हम बात करेंगे।
The BJP leadership has not criticized the court's decision but has stuck to their mandir demand.
वो जो भूमि है जहाँ रामलला हैं, लक्ष्मण किला है, वो सब वहाँ पर तो सिर्फ मंदिर ही बनेगा। अब जो भी रास्ता निकले इसके अलावा और कुछ हो नहीं सकेगा, होने नहीं देंगे।
The big question is whether this 8-week period will give space for clearing the air between the two communities. Will it create some sort of conciliation, particularly in the light of the fact that the election season is almost upon us? In New Delhi, with camera person Naresh, Anisha Mathur for India Today.
So can mediation provide a solution to this long-standing dispute? I want to go across first to Hyderabad MP, leader of the AIMIM, Assuddin Owaisi. He joins us on this broadcast. Mr. Owaisi, why is it that you have such deep reservations about whether mediation can provide a solution? The Supreme Court says that let's give it a shot. There's no harm in attempting mediation. Let's see where the road of mediation takes us.
Let me reiterate to you what the Muslim side had told the Supreme Court, that we had told the Honorable Supreme Court that earlier this sort of mediation was started, which was not successful. But because the Supreme Court suggested it, the Muslim side accepted it. And now today the Supreme Court has given an order, a judgment, wherein 3 mediators have been appointed. I welcome it, let there be a mediation. But my issue of concern is one of the mediators has given his statement to the public, which is there in public domain, wherein he has already stated his position. That is that if a mandir is not built at that place where Babri Masjid was demolished on 6th of December 92, India will become a Syria. He has already told the Muslims that as a goodwill gesture, leave it. So, a mediator should be neutral. And Rahul, may I point out to you that the civil procedure mediation rules followed by High Court, Rule 6C clearly says that if a person is connected to the subject matter and to the party, he should not be made a mediator. But that has been the case over here. So, that particular person has already given interview to your channel, not once, but the statement which he made that India would become a Syria was given to your channel. Now, if that person has this frame of mind, I would have, it would have been better that a neutral person should have been there. But then again, the Supreme Court in their wisdom has given the judgment. But I would still say that a neutral mediator should have been there.
Let me just show our viewers what Sri Sri Ravi Shankar did tell India today when we interviewed him. This is at a time when he was on a solo mission trying to mediate without the Supreme Court sanction and find a solution to the Ayodhya dispute. Here is Sri Sri Ravi Shankar.
Whatever Supreme Court says, one community will celebrate the victory. And you will see the other community will be terribly hurt. There will be civil war type of situation in the country. I think people in this country should wake up. We don't want to create a Syria, Egypt or Middle East type of atmosphere in this country where we are in such harmony. In villages, people are living together with such harmony, there is such a goodwill, and this thing can create such a big divide between the community.
No, Asuddin Owaisi, I can use that exact interview to argue that Sri Sri Ravi Shankar is actually suggesting the need for mediation, that a court solution, a court verdict may not provide a solution, but mediation could provide the route. He is a very influential, well-renowned spiritual leader, has a following running into the millions, and therefore, why is it that you need to doubt his neutrality? Give him an opportunity, see what he does and what the team does.
Rahul, if that mediator, Mr. Ravi Shankar, in an interview to one of your colleagues of India Today, he made this statement. In fact, in another interview to your channel, he said that a masjid can be constructed far away. This is a matter of faith for us. Now, if that is the particular frame of mind or mindset of a mediator, would you call him a neutral mediator? No. So, and moreover, as far as I know, this particular mediator is only interested in getting, a peace prize, a Bharat Ratna or a Nobel Prize. So, and apart from that, he has a fixed mindset on this particular issue on which the Supreme Court has made him the mediator.
Stay with me, Mr. Owaisi. I want to get a reaction from Shriraj Nair of the Vishwa Hindu Parishad, who joins us on this broadcast. Asuddin Owaisi questioning the neutrality of Sri Sri Ravi Shankar, saying that he's taken a very strong position in the past. He's made it very clear which side he's coming in representing on this very contentious issue, and therefore is ineligible to be a neutral mediator, and therefore he should be left outside the purview of the Supreme Court committee. How does the VHP respond to this?
Well, first of all, I saw the clipping. Sri Sri Ravi Shankar ji never threatened it. It was a very plain way of speaking that both the Hindus and Muslims of this country are living in harmony for centuries together, and especially quoted the examples of village, which was absolute truth. Now I don't know why Mr. Owaisi is twisting as if Sri Sri Ravi Shankar was threatening. Basically, it is all a matter of playing for. They are playing for time. The way I remember when Honorable Prime Minister said, even if a dog dies, there is a huge pain in the heart, and that was also twisted. Now, why people are twisting the statements? It's really it's a very sad state of affairs. First of all, now it's a Supreme Court order, and it's their directive. We have definitely our own reservations. But the way the statement of Sri Sri Ravi Shankar ji has been twisted, it's really sad. We never objected that Justice Karimullah has been appointed as the head of this three-member panel. We never objected. Now, definitely we are studying the order. In a day or two, our lawyers will study, and then we'll definitely come out.
Sundaram is a senior advocate in the Supreme Court, understands how mediations work. What do you make of the committee that's been set up, Mr. Sundaram? Asuddin Owaisi on India Today questioning the neutrality of Sri Sri Ravi Shankar, given his past comments in an interview to India Today, and saying he's ineligible because he's already taken a very strong position. Do you believe mediation could provide a solution to this highly vexed issue? R.M. Sundaram.
Well, it's not a question of belief, but it's definitely a question of hope. Let's look at it in a very practical sense. This case is maybe technically a title dispute, but it's far, far beyond that. The consequences and ramifications of any outcome of this case is very far-reaching. To have a judicial verdict on this case is going to have disgruntled side and a joyous side, a celebratory side and a grieving side. I think what the Supreme Court has done in its wisdom, and so beautifully put during the hearing, that look, it's a time for healing, is to say, let's make this last-ditch effort at mediating. Let's make this last-ditch effort at getting people to come together. Without doing that, let's not go into just dealing with it as though it's a legal issue and a title suit, when we all know that the ramifications of this are going to be very wide. It is a matter involving wide public interest in India, not only amongst the parties to the case, but amongst a lot of people. There's so much debate and discussion and feelings and sentiments over this case. So I think what the Supreme Court has done very wisely is to say, let's just give this one last-ditch effort at trying to get the matter resolved. And for that
to our viewers who don't fully understand the intricacies of how a mediation proceeding will unfold, Mr. Sundaram, how will this three-member committee go about the task of mediation? They have 8 weeks. Is that enough to find a solution? What exactly will they do?
You have a lot of questions in that, Rahul, so let me try to consolidate my answer within one head. The point of the matter is, let's understand what is mediation. A mediation is not legally binding unless all parties consent, and then the mediators say this is the solution all parties are agreeable to, and the court then passes the order based on such agreed solution. It is not the same thing as an arbitrator, where an arbitrator takes a decision and that decision is binding whether a party likes it or does not like it. So the role of a mediator is to get parties together, not to decide as to which party is right and which party is wrong. The mediator's role is to get all parties together to try to agree. And only if they agree and a solution is presented and the court is then passes a judgment based on that solution, only then does it become binding. So that is a mediation. A mediation is an effort at healing, at getting people together. That is number one. Number two, therefore you need mediators who can really look into the issue with a great deal of depth, go not just into the peripheral issues, go deep down as to what is it that is really worrying and hurting the parties. How can each party be appeased in their own way?
Of the objections of Asuddin Owaisi around the membership of
having to go through a litigation where we
around the appointment of Sri Sri Ravi Shankar as a mediator. He says, given his past comments, Sri Sri Ravi Shankar is not eligible to be a neutral mediator. He's already taken a very strong position, so he's already party to the dispute.
Rahul.
Just 1 second. R.M. Sundaram.
Rahul, from the clipping you showed, can I just finish? From the clipping you showed, I didn't see any such partisan attitude. On the contrary, the clipping you showed was more for getting together and trying to resolve the issue. But leaving that aside, in this kind of matter, you are going to have acrimony from someone or the other about the kind of person who's been appointed as a mediator. Let's not forget one thing. The panel itself, you have a retired judge, a person known for his humaneness, who is the chairman of the panel. Apart from that, you have Mr. Sriram Panchu, who actually was a forerunner. He was really a person who was one of the initial people in India who encouraged mediation and who's always been very involved with mediation and an expert in that subject. Now, Sri Sri Ravi Shankar is, let's accept one fact, considered more of a spiritual guru than a Hindu godman. In fact, the perception of him generally is as a spiritual guru, more than just a Hindu faith godman. Now, Sri Sri Ravi Shankar there, with a large following, and if he is able to use his influence, which he has over so many people, and which he will definitely have over the Hindu group to a great extent, to bring them to the table, to get them to agree to certain things, I believe that his presence there cannot be considered.
Okay, Aman Sinha, I want you to come in on the objections being raised by Asuddin Owaisi. Arima Sundaram says, you know, he's not really spoken of India becoming Syria. He says that there should be some healing, some solution that's found. Asuddin Owaisi on the broadcast very strong, saying that he should be disqualified. He's taken a position. What's the BJP's view? Aman Sinha.
Rahul, I just saw the interview clipping that you showed on the channel. Clearly, Sri Sri Ravi Shankar is only making a passionate appeal for amicable solution and harmonious solution of the entire issue. That is in fact the mandate and remit of the mediator. So I do not know what objection Mr. Owaisi has on that account. Now, in fact, in this matter, the mediators have been appointed by Supreme Court, exercising their powers under Section 89 of the CPC, and therefore they have taken everything into account. And finally, Rahul, it is not for mediators to decide. They will only exercise their offices or influence to get the parties together to find an amicable solution. Therefore, I do not see any objection which is legally or otherwise sustained on that account. But let me say, Rahul, that this is a long pending issue. As far as BJP is concerned, this is perhaps the oldest pending civil suit of the entire country, and this needs to be resolved or adjudicated at the earliest possible opportunity.
Asad Khan Falahi, are you also objecting to Sri Sri Ravi Shankar's appointment? Because ultimately, whoever gets appointed, somebody will have a problem with. Why don't you give mediation a chance?
Should be built at the earliest.
This is the best initiative taken by the Supreme Court.
Absolutely. Somebody or other will raise an objection with respect to each and every
meditation is going to be monitored by the Supreme Court of India. So I am very optimistic that this mediation will find out some constructive resolution or solution of this conflict, because this conflict has been resolved long back ago. But the problem is that the failure of leadership of both sides, I mean the Muslim community as well as the Hindu community, both leadership failed to resolve this problem. That's why now Supreme Court has taken this initiative that mediation should be taken place and find out some constructive and the mutual ground where both communities can agree.
Okay, because Asuddin Owaisi, there was a investigation that we carried called Operation Ayodhya, where we stung litigants on both sides, and they said that they will not accept the Supreme Court order if it went against them, that there would be riots in the streets and that India would burn. So the fact is, as Aryama Sundaram argues so passionately, that any court order will have one side happy and another side very unhappy, and that can disrupt the social fabric. Mediation actually provides one route wherein you can find an amicable solution, or at least attempt to find an amicable solution, Mr. Owaisi.
Wasn't a judgment given on triple talaq? A judgment was given on triple talaq. What happened then? The judgment had to be accepted. You know, I might be having a difference of opinion, but a judgment was given. So, you know, if you and me sit here and say that no, the Supreme Court, if it gives a judgment this side or that side, the issue over there is not a matter of faith. It is a title suit. It is a particular political party, a particular, in fact, ruling party BJP and its ideological organizations have made it a matter of faith. Now, if that is how we are going to make every issue, then how will the courts decide dispassionately? If everything becomes a matter of faith, then what will happen to our constitution? What will happen to the fundamental rights in our constitution? That this is a question which is very important, which everyone must introspect and answer.
Let me just show our viewers what the two litigants in that India Today investigation, Operation Ayodhya, said. On both
Rahul,
sides, the Hindu side and the Muslim side, they're talking about how the verdict will not be acceptable to them. So there is a real problem. Nobody is willing to accept a Supreme Court verdict. First, listen to this comment and then I'll get reactions.
सुप्रीम कोर्ट का निर्णय अगर मुसलमानों के पक्ष में आता है तो हम इसको बिल्कुल एक्सेप्ट नहीं करेंगे, बिल्कुल एक्सेप्ट नहीं करेंगे। तो वो तो अपनी मस्जिद बनाना शुरू कर देंगे। नहीं, बनने भी नहीं देंगे। अगर हमारे खिलाफ आता है तो बिल्कुल इसमें कोई दो राय नहीं है, हमें आंदोलन करना ही पड़ेगा। राम मंदिर हम खुद जाके निर्माण करेंगे, चाहे वो पैरामिलिट्री फोर्स लाएं या फिर कुछ भी जैसी फोर्स लगाएं, उसका हम विरोध करेंगे। वो जाके करना ही पड़ेगा, नहीं करेंगे तो क्या करेंगे। अच्छा, वो आंदोलन जो है वो शांतिपूर्वक आंदोलन होगा या हिंसक होगा? देखिए, शांतिपूर्वक से तो कुछ होता नहीं है। जो महान साधु संत आपसे कहेंगे वो उनका सहयोग पूरा करेंगे, तन मन से। जैसे चाहे वो हिंसक आंदोलन की आपसे कहें, बिल्कुल कर लेंगे। चूंकि नहीं राम मंदिर बनवाना है तो बनना है। आपको लगता है लोग सुप्रीम कोर्ट का फैसला मान लेंगे इसमें?
ये बाबरी मस्जिद है, इसको पूरी दुनिया को जो है इसको जानती है, तो ऐसे सुप्रीम कोर्ट फैसला करते हैं।
So that's a real problem, R.M. Asundram. Litigants on both sides saying if the order of the Supreme Court goes against them, it will not be acceptable. They also spoke about how India could burn up. Now the problem is that if the verdict isn't acceptable, mediation is actually the only route where you could at least hope to find some kind of a solution.
See, Rahul, first of all, according to me, if a matter goes in for adjudication and for a decision of the Supreme Court, that Supreme Court decision is binding and has to be enforced by the state, irrespective of who is unhappy or who is happy. And if people are going to agitate against it and go against the Supreme Court judgment and therefore agitate and become violent, they have to be punished. There is no question. The Supreme Court cannot be cowed down by threats that we will not obey your judgment. But what the Supreme Court has done here is not out of a fear that their judgment is not going to be obeyed. Far from it. A judgment of the Supreme Court will ensure that its judgments are obeyed. You've seen that more than once, and they will be obeyed. And it is a duty of the state to see that it's obeyed. What the Supreme Court has done is not out of a fear that their judgment will not be obeyed, but being alive to the fact that what is before the court, although it's titled as a title suit, is far, far more, affects sentiments, affects feelings, and affects a large number of people seen and unseen. And therefore, the court has very wisely said, we must not leave a single stone unturned.
Oh, absolutely.
Let's make every effort to find a peaceful, mediated solution to it.
For the moment, let that be the last word. Let's not give up any hope to try and find a mediated solution. There may be some questions around who's been appointed and why, but let's give mediation a shot, because any verdict will have one side very happy and another side deeply unhappy. Therefore, if there's an amicable solution, as R.M. Sundaram argues, that is indeed the best way to go with.
Thanks for watching the video. For more such news and updates, please like, share and subscribe to India Today. Also check out our other great videos from our channel. We know you will love to.